Welcome back. I'm George Sedano in for Rachel Nichols. Jackie McMullen is back with us. Of course, Mark Spears is in studio with us here as well. Zach Lowe will join us in just a moment. But, all right, let's get to the best two words in sports. Game 7. The Bucks and Nets are set to play in a loser leaves town match tomorrow at Barclays Center. So, Mark, I'll start with you. Who has the edge entering this particular game?
I kind of alluded to it earlier. I should have waited to talk about this, but man, KD in Game 7s is amazing. He's played in 4 of them, averages 33 a game. He's had 40.5 points the past 2 games. I expect him to be special. I think Jay-Z and Beyonce probably be in the house. It's going to be an electric atmosphere with the Nets, and certainly emotional night for some of their longtime fans. I guess they have some longtime fans, right? To get the Nets to a place they haven't been since Jason Kidd and Kenyon Martin were around. So, no, I expect KD to lead them there.
Jackie?
So I'm just trying to calculate how many points Jay-Z and Beyonce are worth, Mark. What do you think? I'm not sure. Extra 5,
points.
6 points. No, but your point is a good one. The atmosphere is going to be electric there. And someone we haven't mentioned, Joe Harris has had an up and down series. He strikes me as a guy who is the leading 3-point field goal percentage shooter in the NBA this year. I think he's going to come up big in this game, in Game 7, because as great as KD was, that 48-minute performance is one I'll never forget. You can't ask him to do that again. He needs a little more help. I think he's going to get it.
Jackie, let me ask you this. How much pressure is on Giannis right now? Because we've talked about some of their playoff failures in the past, but we've seen a lot of these guys, right, where sometimes they rise to the occasion. We saw Paul George do it the other night in the situation without Kawhi. But Giannis is a different level. We're talking about a guy who's a 2-time MVP. What kind of pressure is he feeling going into this game?
Well, I'm sure he's feeling a tremendous amount, and I feel for Giannis in this regard. We talk about Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's the most versatile player in the game today. He can beat you a whole bunch of different ways, off the dribble, from the three-point line, driving to the basket. Giannis is a big man, and we've already established that he needs to do all his damage in the paint. It's a lot harder to dominate a game when you're playing a power forward position like Giannis is and asking others to help get you the ball in the right spot. And so I think there's a tremendous amount of pressure on him. But I will ask you guys this question. If they lose to the Brooklyn Nets, is that a colossal failure?
What do you think, Mark?
A really, really talented Brooklyn Nets team? Is that a colossal failure?
Kyrie's not there, and James Harden isn't 100%, so yes, I believe so.
Right, and they're healthy. Yeah. Right, I mean, they're missing Dante DiVincenzo, but their big 3 is healthy.
And I got a question, too.
Okay.
Do we have a signature moment for Giannis? This can be it.
Yeah.
And I can't think of one. Maybe a Hall of Famer knows better. I can't think of a signature moment for him in his career. This is his opportunity. Knock off KD, knock off the Nets in Brooklyn, get the Bucks to the East Finals. We'll remember this about Giannis, maybe a breakthrough moment in his career. I think tomorrow night is a night where he could shut up a lot of people, including probably myself, where he could take a step forward in terms of being one of the elite stars in the league.
And the recipe's there. We saw it in Game 6, right? Attack, attack, attack the basket. Don't let them 100%. Off the hook by shooting threes. It's not your bag, man. Like, just go out there and do what got you those MVPs. Because the minute you take a 3 when you're Giannis, Brooklyn's like, whew, thank God he did that. So don't do that. Just put the pressure on them.
So true.
Here we go.
But
you know when we hear that sentence. Anyway, Brian, continue.
I think this series
That's like Giannis
is
saying he doesn't watch.
I think this series is about the future of the NBA, because the Nets are operating like this is all about the most offense you can possibly produce. That's what they said when they basically went for Harden and said, we are going to play like the Showtime Lakers on steroids. We're going to just absolutely go as hard as we can. We're going to score 145 and good luck. And then I think the Bucks, who can put up 140 on a good night as well, don't get me wrong, have spent all of these assets on versatile defenders. Not just Drew Holiday, but as Malika mentioned, P.J. Tucker. Those 2 trades have completely gassed their ability to control their own draft.
Right.
And they did that because they realized in the NBA, you still got to defend. You just need versatile defenders. And so, like, if the Nets just come down and just like, listen, we're going to just outplay you and outrun you, I don't see why other teams won't mimic that and just go full 1980s all over again.
Yeah, this is a big series for Milwaukee. I think they've done a good job of kind of floating under the radar. They've been the 1 seed, and that didn't work, and we found holes and critiqued. But they've added great pieces. With everyone you mentioned, Brian, also adding Bobby Portis, Bryn Forbes shooting the ball well. This is the best this Milwaukee team, in my opinion, has been playing in the past 3 or 4 years. And what I liked is they fooled around with rotations during the season, even if that may have cost them a loss or two early on. But just to understand that we have these rotations, we have guys, we can play these different combinations. So I'm willing. This is going to be a great series. I'm not sure who's going to win, but I think whoever wins this is going to represent the Eastern Conference in the finals.
Yeah, I mean, I threw out to these guys during the break, is whoever wins this the favorite for the NBA Finals, the favorite to win the title? With the way the West, so many other teams are having problems. We will find out. It will be interesting for Milwaukee, though, which really did go all in on retooling this team. At first it was, did they do enough to have Giannis resign? Well, that box got checked. But this is what they can do. And if this is not enough and they go out in the second round again, I don't know if you're Giannis and the Bucks and you go back to the drawing board and yet another offseason. I just don't know what else you can say besides, hey, we ran into some pretty bad luck here. Malika, when you talk about the Nets side of things, how much do you think they took away from their Celtics series? I was at one of those games, and I mean, the Celtics were depleted. It was kind of hard to get a sense in the game I was at of really where the Nets were.
Yeah, well, and Steve Nash has said, Rachel, that, look, we just had to play the team that was in front of us. So, yes, we understand that they were depleted, but that wasn't something he said, we're missing Jeff Green. You know, things happen, right? But what the Nets are taking out of that series is they just had more time together on the floor to try to build that chemistry that they've been trying to get all season. They've still only played 13 games with the big three all together. And so to have that additional 5 games, that's what was important to them. Yes, this is a team where those big three have combined for 27 all-star selections. But this is also, you mentioned, both Matt and Brian mentioned a case of offense versus defense a little bit, although the Bucks have a big three offensively of their own a little bit. They've averaged over 85 points per game. Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, and Giannis Antetokounmpo against the Nets this season. But what I'm also looking at, instead of just the offense versus the defense, I'm also looking at experience versus not. 2 years ago, when the Bucks lost to Toronto, they said, you know, we're trying to overcome a lack of experience. That's the boat the Nets are in right now, whereas the Bucks have this waterlog of experiences and adversities that they've gone through together.
Yeah, and look, it's going to be fascinating. Now, the first since, if we're going to get into that, you were part of the only Bucks team to ever win an NBA title, and that was 50 years ago this year, which underscores just how difficult it is to do in the NBA. Milwaukee,
that's too long ago, man.
What do you think of how the Bucks series against the Nets has progressed, and what it would mean if they could get through here and even win a title, what it would mean to the city of Milwaukee?
I think the folks in Milwaukee will lose their minds, you know, because it just they've been snake bit a number of times by injuries, and you know, had great teams. I remember when Bob Lanier went there and played out his career and had a great run there, but they just couldn't make it into the finals. So they're going to have to get it done, you know, one way or the other. And they have the horses, but there is a reason why we play the games.
Yes. I know during the break we were talking that, as you put it, Kevin Durant is not here to play. So that is something they will have to overcome. I do want to get into how you did leave Milwaukee, because it was actually on this date. We have the anniversary right now. 46 years ago on this date is when you were traded from Milwaukee to the Lakers. And we've talked about this before. You kept that trade request private. You played a full season without incident before the trade was actually made. You went and did your job. But looking back, why did you feel, since we are on the anniversary of it today, was the best move for your career? And really, you were at the birth of player empowerment, saying, I would like to be moved.
The reason that I tried to keep it on the down low as much as I could is because, you know, I really appreciated the way the people in Milwaukee had treated me. You know, they paid me well and they supported me. And, you know, I wanted to give them an opportunity to get the best deal that they could get for me. And the more I kept my mouth shut, the easier that could have happened. Mm-hmm. So I decided I'd keep my mouth shut and let them try to make the best deal that they could, because I wasn't going to play another year there.
Right.
And it all worked out for me.
Yes, clearly. We can see that right now with the footage. Absolutely. And I know that the city of Milwaukee has been looking for someone like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar since. They're very happy with their two-time MVP, but they would be even happier if they could get a Kareem-like title there back in Milwaukee. So we will follow that as well.
Giannis and those guys are, I've been there to see them play. Mm-hmm. They're an incredible team, but I don't know what it is. Sometimes it's just you can't get the right team to go as far as you want it to go, but it's still a great team and it wins the support of all the fans.
Do you
You're
think
just going to have to figure out a better approach?
Do you think that this Bucks team, the way it is now, do you think that this team is capable of winning a title?
No, I don't. KD would kill those guys, man. No, I'm serious. Because he'd score and then he finds the open guy. He could do that by himself. They got to do a better job. The whole team has to play differently so that KD, one guy, can't just dominate like that.
Well, they'll have one more shot at it, and we'll see what they can do in Game 6. Kareem, it is just such a privilege to get to be able to talk to you. I always say I have the most fun job, but it's getting to actually meet and talk to, over the years, you, frankly, that has made me feel like I have just the honor is out of control. So,
and let you guys know, we've the Social Justice Award. We've had a meeting on that, and we got it all figured out. And I'm looking forward to making the announcement. I'm very honored that they would choose me to represent that. I grew up watching Jackie Robinson and Bill Russell as my heroes, and Muhammad Ali. I stand on their shoulders. So to be singled out like this is really special for me. I'm very thankful.